You just quit your 9 to 5 to escape the matrix. And you started your own business. Now you work 24 hours. But don't worry, I'm not bashing you for that. I'm bashing you because you're still working. Well, I'm not better than you. If I was, I would be driving my Aston Martin on the streets instead of talking to you. Most of us started a business and it's making some sort of revenue. But we're all struggling with the hyperscaling, becoming the next millionaires. And that made me wonder a lot. What is it that we're missing? Most of us are so proud running our own startups. What if we are just self-employed? That is what Robert Kiyosaki was talking about in his book Rich Dad Poor Dad. He describes 4 quadrants to cash flow: employee, self-employed, running a business, being an investor. When you are on this half, you are investing your time, your most valuable asset, for money. When you're that half, you're investing your money to make more money. If you're on this side, you achieved financial freedom. If you're here, you're still slave to the matrix. Most of us think we are running a business, but we're actually self-employed. Because we are still putting our own time and effort into making our own revenue in our businesses. And we keep making that excuse whenever we make a mistake in our business or we do not achieve a certain goal or revenue goal. We keep saying, well, it's just a startup. And we never really think big to become an actual business. That made me wonder, what does it really take for me to go from a self-employed, aka a startup, into a real sustainable business? This is the difference between being financially free and being a slave to the matrix. Going from here to here happens in one step: hiring. When you were an employee, you were learning a certain skill. And then when you became self-employed, you started getting your own clients. Suddenly, you turn that into a company. To go from company to a sustainable business, you need to hire someone and teach them that skill that you learned to do the work for you so that it becomes scalable. And you can think more about new revenue streams. And that's how you hyperscale. You need to hire someone smarter and better than you. You already discovered a recipe that makes money, but it's time to get someone who teach them that recipe and let them find creative ways to do it better than you. But I cannot afford to hire someone yet. That's the exact point I want to get to. When you think like this, and this is a KPI you must achieve, hiring someone in your business, it makes you think about your revenue goals. It makes you think in a way where you want to achieve a certain revenue to be able to delegate work and hire someone that can scale the business for you. And that's the reason why you're still a self-employed freelancer, not a startup. If I need task A, B, and C done to make $1,000 a day, I need to start thinking about outsourcing or interns or freelancers that can work for me instead. Start design and look at my pricing strategy in a different way and my revenue model to build it in a sustainable way where it covers the cost of initially outsourcing these tasks. The most intimidating thing people think about, that it's a huge cost to hire someone throughout a full year. But you don't have to do that. They have to do the job right for 1 or 2 months before they are already helping you pay their own costs if they do the job right. The great news is, if you hire someone and the work they do for you is generating enough revenue to cover their cost, you are, my friend, on the path to being a hyperscaling sustainable business. But I want you to understand that hiring people is not about managing them and being the boss. You want to hire people who are genuinely smarter than you, more creative than you. You want to hire the go-getter. Always listen to their ideas and what they come up with, and never let your ego block their creativity. Give them chances and let them do mistakes. And sometimes, if you know what they're doing is wrong, but you can control the damage, let them do it. You never know the learning experiences that they get from that mistake. We want to hire smart people. Honestly, they can do our work and we can take a vacation and travel abroad. And that's what Robert Kiyosaki was saying. If you cannot leave your business for a month without it crashing, then you do not really have a business. What if you hire someone so smart they steal the idea and run away? If they wanted to do it, they wouldn't join you. They would do it on their own. And even if they're that smart to break free from you and do it on their own, it's actually much harder to go and start from scratch rather than joining and working together. But if they do that, it's because you did not give enough. You'll tell me, but hey, that's the whole point, right? We're startups, we cannot pay big salaries. I know you can, but this is why there's something called ESOPs. Key hires do expect to get some shares in the company. If I'm working for your company and I'm a key employee and contributing to hyperscaling of your business that started from scratch, yes, you were generating some revenue when I joined you, but now I'm scaling you 10 times more. I deserve to get some shares, but not as a co-founder, because you did the hard part of finding the product market fit. This is why I deserve a very minority thing called the ESOP share, where you allocate around 1 to 5% of your company's shares for key employees. Now I work for you knowing that I own even a small percentage of your company, but for that I know that every effort I put on the long run will pay me back much more if I made you a multi-billionaire. It takes so much effort for a brand to build reputation and a customer database. Even if I know the know-how as your key employee, it will take me so much more effort to break away from you and start again from scratch. So if you give me even that little bit of shares, it's actually worth it for me to stay with you. And it's the same reason why bigger companies that are competing with you will not be able to hire your key employees. It's because you gave them a piece of the cake. And the bigger companies would never do that because they have the money to pay for salaries. What if that new hire you got turns out to be really bad? We're assuming a unicorn world where the hire you got is an excellent person, the key hire that will make your business hyperscale, but that's not always the case. To get to that hire, you'll probably go through several bad hires that could possibly crash your business. So do you want to tolerate their mistakes and also give away equity to them? No. This is why there's something called vesting. Vesting agreements happen between founders and their co-founders, or founders and key early hires that come to your company. You allocate a certain amount of shares to your co-founder or to your key hire employee if they achieve certain KPIs within designated time. If they leave your company without achieving these goals, then they do not get any of the shares allocated to them. Especially in the startup world, you would be surprised about how many people are willing to work for you, sometimes even for free or for a very low salary, just because they believe in what you're doing and they want to take part of the cake before it's too late. There's a lot of young people out there who are really smart and they want to join startups. They don't have the wealth to invest in one and own equity, but they want to own equity in very small startups before they grow big just by putting their time into it. They are the employees in the first quadrant. They are the ones who want to invest their time, but not for money, for equity. So later, they can jump to the investor quadrant. Finally, if you cannot go on a vacation and leave your business for a month without it crashing, then this is not a business, you are self-employed. And 2, appreciate your key hires because they are the key difference from you being financially free or still slave to the matrix.